the Certified Kubernetes Application Developer CKAD. Hello my awesome audience, my name is Helen and I want you to ace this exam. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my CKAD exam experience and the best tips to help you pass on your first attempt. A week ago, I sat for this CKAD exam and I passed. So after I aced the exam, I was so happy to get my badge. Okay, as you can see, this is it here, and it was issued to me on 30th of September 2023. Okay, because after writing this exam, you have to wait for 24 hours to get your result. Okay. CKAD stands for Certified Kubernetes Application Developer. This certification is basically offered by CNCF, alright, in order to help validate an individual's knowledge and skills in designing, building, configuring, deploying, and exposing a cloud-native applications on Kubernetes cluster. The exam certifies that users can design, build, configure, and expose cloud-native applications for Kubernetes. A certified Kubernetes application developer can actually define application resources and core primitives to build, monitor, and troubleshoot scalable applications and tools in Kubernetes. This exam for SREs, DevOps engineers, developers, and anyone, if your role requires using Kubernetes, I recommend or suggest you go for this exam because it will really help you to learn. It will really help you to have that hands-on experience you've been looking for. Okay, it will boost your profile. There are actually many things that this exam can actually help you to achieve. If you sit for this exam, these are the skills you're gonna gain. Okay, number one is core concept of Kubernetes. You will gain application configuration skill. You should be able to manage multi-container pods. You also get this skill observability and maintenance of your application. You have this skill of pod design. You should be able to design your pods. You also be skilled when it comes to services and networking because you should be able to know how to manage traffic in your cluster. You should be able to know how your pods can communicate and all that. State persistence, you should be able to know how to persist your data in your cluster, and many more are the skills you're gonna get. Reasons to pursue CKAD certification. Number one, career advancement. This is like a boost to your profile. Once you sit for this exam and pass it, don't hesitate to update that on your LinkedIn profile and share it. Blow your trumpet and let people know, let recruiters know that yes, you've gotten that skill that is required to build, design, configure, troubleshoot, design your application in Kubernetes cluster. So yeah, it will really help to advance your skill. I'm talking from experience. And the second one is industry demand. Yeah, this certification is actually highly in demand because it is expected that if you sit and pass this exam, that you can actually design, build, configure, and manage your application or be able to deploy a cloud native application to Kubernetes. Skill validation. When it comes to certification, this particular CKAD exam, it is practical based. It is not objective. Okay, so it helps to validate your skill when it comes to deploying cloud native application. And the next one is competitive edge. This certification will help you to stand out among others, trust me. And we have continuous learning. Preparing for this exam alone is a work on its own. I don't want to scare you, but you really need to be dedicated to study, and practicing leads to perfection. We have valuable contribution to your organization here as the reason why I recommend this. So you'll be very highly valuable in your organization because you contribute greatly when it comes to application deployments to your Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so yeah, you have a valuable skill to offer to your potential organization or your current organization. Yeah, it's an achievement because it involves a lot of work, right, to go through all the resources and actually grasp the concepts, to practice and everything. So by the time you finally sit and ace the exam, yes, it's an achievement. Please, you have to announce it on your professional profile on LinkedIn or any other place. Okay, it is a booster, it is an achievement, so don't hesitate to share that with us. I also like to celebrate with you. So yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I would like to congratulate you for sitting for this exam, because it is not actually that cheap. Is this exam difficult? This exam is not, I wouldn't say is difficult. Okay, I would rather use the word challenging. This exam is challenging, yes, and that is why it is highly rated. If it's not that challenging, it is, if it is very cheap, then everybody will have it. But it is a challenging exam, and that is why it is, it is highly rated, right? Anyone who prepares with the right materials and the right information, just like I'm giving you the best tips, you'll be able to ace this exam. So it involves you practicing with the right resources, getting to know the tips I'm going to be dropping soon, and then you're good to go. How long should you prepare for CKAD? So when it comes to answering this question, I don't really like giving a time frame, because if you're watching this video, you may have varying, or yeah, I don't know your knowledge level of Kubernetes currently. Okay, and I believe we all have different schedule, right? For someone that is not currently employed, the person will actually dedicate more time to studying, because yeah, the person is not really on a full-time job. So I believe the person has all the time to prepare. The person can give 8 hours a day just to prepare for this, or 5 hours. All right, but if you're working, you're in a full-time job which is not really that flexible, you may be given 1 hour per day to prepare for this exam, and it will take you longer to prepare. Okay, so please, it doesn't really matter how long it takes. If it takes you 3 months to prepare for this exam, that is okay, that is absolutely fine. If it takes you 2 months, that is fine. If it takes you 6 months, I just want you to have a schedule that works for you. So please take the time you need, but ensure you're following a specific schedule that works for you. What is the passing score for this exam? Okay, so you need to score a minimum of 66% in order to pass the exam. Okay, so it has to be up to 66% or more in order to pass this CKAD exam. So these tips I'm going to be sharing are categorized into two. I'm going to give you what you really need before the exam, and then during the exam what you actually need to do. All right, so please click on that thumbs up to give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video so far. Comment if you have any question, or just to give a feedback about this video. All right, and please note that all this helps to encourage me to produce quality videos for you guys. Okay, and also subscribe if you are yet to do so. Click on notification bell so you get updates whenever I publish a new video. Thank you. Right now we can get started on what you need to do before the exam. Prepare with the right resources. Okay, so the recommended course for this CKAD exam is authored by Mannambeth. Okay, so Mannambeth actually has this CKAD course in 2 different platforms. I don't know if it is more, but I know about KodeKloud and Udemy. This is this course at KodeKloud, and is subscription based. Okay, so if you can subscribe to this platform, I will suggest you do, because you have labs to practice. Everything you basically need from the scratch to finish to study is here. If the course is okay by you, you can as well use the one at Udemy. I'm going to be dropping the link in the description below. Okay, you can use the one at Udemy. You also have access to lab. It's just that with the one at Udemy, you have to be jumping from that Udemy platform to KodeKloud to do the lab. So you'll be moving around basically. But if you are able to purchase the one over here, you have everything together, both the labs and the courses, the practice exercises and all that. And over here I have all the resources listed that can actually help you to ace this exam. I'm going to be dropping everything in the description below. I also have CKAD practice exercises, and yeah, so these are actually the materials I used. All right, like this CKAD practice exercises, it is very helpful. You have many exercises to practice with. All right, it was very helpful to me, and I know it will be helpful to you as well. So once you purchase this exam, the CKAD, you should be able to see exam simulator over here. So you are basically getting a free access of killer shell environment where you have some scenario based questions to help you prepare for CKAD. Okay, so it is not actually displaying here because I used that when I was preparing, and it is gone. So you have access to the scenario based questions for 36 hours. So you basically need to click on that. You see exam simulator, just click on that and you see an option to activate that, and that will launch the exam environment, similar exam environment to you, where you get to solve different some difficult question. And it is believed that those scenario based questions are actually, harder than the real exam questions. So if you are able to also practice with those questions plus the exam exercises I've shared with you in the description below, that can help to better prepare you for the exam. And here we have number 2 tip, which is strategic study scheduling with clear goals. You really need to have a goal. What is your study goal? What is your certification goal for the year? So as for you, let's say your goal is to write CKAD this year, say November or December, then you need to have a study schedule. All right, you need to map it out, and let's say you want to study 2 hours every day, then stick to 2 hours every day. If it's 1 hour every day, stick to that. This is because a well-structured schedule ensures consistent progress, while clear goals provide direction and motivation. So together, they form the foundation for successful and fulfilling educational journeys. Number 3, get familiar with the curriculum. So this curriculum will basically help you to grasp a comprehensive understanding of the topic, all right, and help you to understand the concepts as well that you need to master for successful completion of the exam. So over here on CNCF official website, we have the curriculum, and you get to see the cost of this exam and as well the exam detail. All right, so here you have the domain and the weight. All right, so you have application design and build 20%, application deployment 20%, application observability and maintenance 15%, application environment configuration and security 25%. This is the highest, and then services and networking 20%. Okay, so you get to purchase this exam, and there's an option to use a voucher for this exam, so you mustn't purchase that. There's also option for scholarship. I think this should be a video for another day, all right, because I don't want this to get too long. Or you can also get a discount, all right, by Linux Foundation in order to sit for this exam. So yeah, you can. I will just encourage you to subscribe and click on notification below, so you get to see my videos, you get to see the updates, and that will enable you to stay up to date on my subsequent videos. All right, tip number 4. No, so over here I have the don'ts for you and I have the solution. So on the day of your exam, you certainly wouldn't want to begin sessions for a deployment manifest file that contains volumes or volume mount. Okay, so let's assume you're asked to create a deployment and then mount your volume, create add a volume, and add a volume mount as well. You wouldn't want to start sessions for how to add the volume or how to, because you need to be familiar with this stuff ahead before the exam. Okay, you wouldn't want to start session or hunting for persistent volume in various places. All right, so the solution is to get familiar with Kubernetes documentation that can enable you to effectively use that during your exam. And let me also add that you're using Firefox browser during the exam, so I would suggest opening that Firefox browser and opening Kubernetes documentation on your browser, on the Firefox browser, and see how you can actually search for a particular stuff. All right, just get familiar with the browser, get familiar with the documentation, and you'll be fine. So let's go to Kubernetes documentation. Okay, documentation is just here. So assuming you're asked during the exam to define container environment variable using secret data, because I'm so familiar with this documentation, I know where to find this. Okay, I'll just go to secret, and then I will scroll down because it's something I've practiced, right? I'll just scroll down towards the end of this documentation. Using secret as an environment variable, and this is where I should click in order to get the YAML I can use for this. Okay, and this is it over here. But if you're not used to practicing, or if you didn't practice very well to the point that you're familiar with your documentation, you may find it difficult to to easily locate that. And we're talking about time management here because you don't really have so much time to be to be searching randomly for something. All right, and I also believe you can use find option. So this is Microsoft Edge, but using your Firefox, you should be able to also find on page, so you can type a particular stuff to look for a particular word over this place. Tip number 5, ensure you master imperative command. Okay, make use of imperative command to create Kubernetes resources and to generate a YAML file. So it's not every time you go to the documentation to search or look for a manifest file for a particular resource. This imperative command can actually save you a significant amount of time during your CKAD exam. Okay, so for instance, let's assume you were asked to create a deployment that is named Nginx deployment using the image Nginx, and you should have 3 replicas of your pod. So this is the command over here. This is the command to create this, and this will save you time instead of going to copy manifest file or create it yourself. With this, you can just create this manifest file, or you can create your Kubernetes resource, all right, the deployment. But if this has further instruction, for instance, to mount a volume to it or to add an environment variable, okay, you can actually just use -o YAML and save it, direct it to a file, and then use your text editor to open it, then add the instruction in the text editor to complete it. But it is actually faster than just yeah, it is faster. It will really save your time. So please get familiar using this, and the course by Mannambeth can also teach you how to do this, because in his courses he uses imperative command very well. So I believe attending or using that course will be helpful to you to make use of imperative commands in creating our Kubernetes resources or generating a YAML file. Tip number 6, know Kubernetes resource short names. So in Kubernetes, we have some short names that can actually help you. It will be very helpful. I don't really like stress personally. I like making my work easier. All right, so during the exam, instead of typing pod, I can type PO. Instead of typing a full deployment, I can type deploy. Okay, PV for persistent volume. You can see this name is long. You can just type PVC and that covers it. All right, so you should get familiar with the short names over here. And how do you get to see, or yeah, how do you get to see all the short names of Kubernetes resources? It is by just typing in your Kubernetes cluster, just type kubectl API resources. All right, so with this command, it should list all the resources you have in Kubernetes as well as the short names. So be comfortable using these short names because it will save you time during your exam. Tip number 7, use help option in your cluster. This is actually very essential because it allows you to quickly access a comprehensive list of options and command that is available for resource creation, enabling you to make informed decisions and execute precise actions in your Kubernetes management tasks. Assuming you're asked to create a config map and probably you've forgotten how to really go about it, in your cluster, by just typing kubectl create config map space dash dash help, that can show you different options that you actually need to create that config map. So utilize help option. It is very helpful during your exam. Okay, so get familiar using it before your exam so that during your exam you can easily just view a particular command or different option you can use to create the resource you're asked to create. Tip number 8, get test editor skill. Okay, so if you know Linux already, I believe you should be familiar with your test editor, but there's no problem in case you're not yet familiar with test editor. Please, I'll advise you learn how to really utilize your test editor because you need to really be fast during your exam. Okay, you should be able to just get the basic knowledge of using test editor, like how to switch between insert mode and command mode, how to quickly utilize shortcut G, right? Shortcut G to move to the last line and GG to move to the first line. Okay, so know how to paste, know how to save and exit, know how to quit the text editor without saving. These are just the basic skill you need to know when it comes to using text editor. This knowledge is sufficient for your exam. Get familiar with exam environment. Okay, so you'll be writing this exam on a remote desktop. To have a better experience, it is recommended by Linux Foundation that you get familiar with the Killer Shell environment for you to practice with. So I've shown you the exam dashboard of my CKAD, all right, and I've also shown you how to open the Killer Shell environment, where you get to to solve some scenario based questions to better help you to prepare. So that is that environment is similar to an exam environment, so you basically need to get familiar with that so it doesn't look strange during your exam. Here is practice, practice, and practice. You basically need to practice, like you need to practice enough. You need to fail and fail and fail in your cluster. All right, feel free to fail, feel free to break things and fix it, as long as it's not a production, as long as it's just your practicing environment. Okay, so you basically need to dedicate ample time to practice. Familiarize yourself with the exam content and practical scenarios. Okay, those exam exercises I've shared in the description below, ensure you use them to practice thoroughly. Okay, because rigorous practice not only sharpens your technical proficiency, but it also helps to enhance your time management, problem solving abilities, and overall performance during your exam. I believe that by the time you're fully prepared for this exam, you should know. Nobody will tell you. Your spirit will bear you witness that you've actually learned enough in order to sit for the exam, because you notice that those exercises are actually you can solve those exercises without looking at the solution. Okay, you can basically solve exercises, all those difficult exercises yourself without peeping through the solution to get answers. So practice enough so that you can really be well prepared for this exam. Tip number 11 before the exam day: ensure you have a fast and reliable internet connection for your CKAD exam. A fast and reliable internet connection is very essential if you really want to have a smooth exam experience. Okay, if you don't have a fast and reliable internet connection, you may experience issues like glitch, like the exam environment being slow. It can actually freeze because of slow internet connection. Okay, it can be logging you out and bringing you back. So it will be a very funny experience. From my experience, I've experienced this issue before, and I don't want anyone to experience that. It wasn't really funny, writing an exam and then the network is just messing everything up, you're being delayed, the time is ticking. So please ensure you get a reliable internet connection. All right, if you're in a location where you don't trust your internet connection, if you don't trust your network enough, please go to an environment where you have that fast internet to sit for this exam. That is my suggestion, and I believe once you implement this, it will be helpful to you. Now let's talk about what you really need to do during the exam. At 12, time management skill is required. Please, you need to really manage your time very well during the exam. So once your proctor sign you in or open the exam environment for you, because you first of all start by checking in and all that, they will check your identity, right? Check your environment, and once the exam has been launched for you, you will see 16 questions. Yeah, because the CKAD comprises of 16 questions. So with effective time management, it is possible to address each query. I also want to know that this question has varying weight. Like, you have questions with 4%, you have questions with 8%. All right, so I will really want you to know that some questions demand more time than others. So you see a question that you can easily answer within 4 minutes, yeah, while there are questions that will take up to 7 minutes, 8 minutes. But manage your time well. If you notice that it's taking longer than 7 to 8 minutes, you may need to drop that so you can quickly attend to others and come back to it. So ensure you flag it. You'll see a flag option by the left hand side, just beneath the page where the question is being asked. Just beneath it, you see flag option. Flag it, come back to it later and address the query. So please manage your time well, because it is better to answer or attend all the questions than just attending to 10 or 12. That is actually very risky. You may not ace the exam. So in order to pass it, I recommend you manage your time well so you can attempt all the 16 questions. There is a higher chance of passing the exam if you basically attend all the questions. All right. Tip number 13. During the CKAD exam, you're allowed to set custom aliases to make your command line interactions more efficient. Okay, so this can actually help you to save time and reduce typing. Believe you me, during the exam, you get to type a lot of kubectl get pod, kubectl get deployment, kubectl describe this, describe that. So these are examples of custom aliases, and these are very common. You can describe more for yourself. Okay, so during the exam, the first thing I did was just to set this. I think my own was up to 6 to 7 custom aliases. So yeah, you can just define that, because these are the commonly used command you'll be running during the exam. So it is very easier for you to type klp to get your pod than to type kubectl get pod. Okay, it is easier to type kdp to describe a pod than typing the long command. So once you define custom aliases, then you don't waste time typing the long command. Once you want to get your service, to view your service, it is easier to type kls and then -n with the name of the namespace than typing everything in full. All right. Tip number 14, use auto-completion. During your exam, using this auto-completion is actually very beneficial. All right, it will benefit you because it will help to speed up your command line interaction by providing suggestions and completing commands. To provide flags, it provide resource name, and the more as you type, this feature will basically save you time. It will reduce the chance of typing errors, and it will also enhance overall efficiency. So let me take you to kubectl cheat sheet and show you how you can get this auto-completion command. So let's go to kubectl cheat sheet in the Kubernetes documentation. I'll be dropping the link as well in the description below. Okay, so this is kubectl autocomplete here. You can basically, set this in your badge. Okay, so your badge should be able to run the autocomplete for you. So yeah, you can practice this. Just set this up in your cluster and see how it works before the exam. Yeah, so that during the exam you'll be able to save or manage your time better. Here comes the end of these tips. All right, so I wish you all the best. I wish you exam success. I want you to go and ace this exam, and I can't wait to celebrate with you. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to be dropping my LinkedIn profile the description below, so feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I can't wait to celebrate with you. Subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, click on notification bell as well, so you get updates whenever I publish a new video. If you watch this video and you've sat for it the first time and you didn't pass it, it is totally okay. Okay, it is totally fine. That doesn't mean you're not intelligent. That doesn't mean, so you basically need to apply these tips so that you'll pass it on your next attempt. Thank you so much. I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye.